pretty
Now
cool.
that, now that, now that is something we could put in a short story and make sure that gets distributed to the kids. That last part was definitely where it's at.
Yeah.
Like, yo, it's crazy because who you said who you dropped the link right of the person that wrote this.
Uh, it's one of the comments. He was just he knew what he was saying, but I don't think he was trying to write a book. That's what's so weird about it.
But it's not even a bad thing. What he did was right because he was a. But you know why I love what he did, right? But he questioned himself. I don't like that part because he's nervous about it being true because he knows it's true. But I don't want you to look at me like I'm the guy with the tinfoil hat. We need more people to not give a crap, put their tinfoil hats on proudly, and walk around this like to where, oh, you're not wearing a tinfoil hat. Oh, I'm unconscious, and just walk away from them like, you know what I mean, type of
Yeah.
thing. Like, then and that's where we go with it because honestly, he was speaking so many true points and so many facts, but then he kind of was like, who's to say or who doesn't know? You know, and let people know that you know and be comfortable in knowing. Stand proudly and firm in the fact that you know because your awareness is what creates your infinity. Your awareness is what brings you your immortality. Because once somebody else denies their immortality, once somebody else denies their capability, it's free grabs. When you tell someone what the truth is and they deny it, I love it. That's like one of it's just like, oh man, better than orgasm because honestly, it goes to me. If you don't believe in what I'm giving you or what's being
So
offered to you, even if
hold
it's
on,
not from me,
hold on a minute.
you
Did you just say that like orgasms are
oh my
hyperdimensional?
gosh, come on, move on past that. Move past the wet
Hy-
panties with you. You understand? Move
hyperdimensional
past.
orgasms. You just said
Have
you
you
had
never?
a.
Have you never? Have you seriously never? Oh my god, that's like I used to have them a lot more often. I haven't been masturbating as much as I usually do
No,
or
I'm
used to.
I'm I'm
But
talking about
it,
hyperdimensional orgasms. I'm not.
but that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying in regards to it. It's still masturbation, even if it's with your mind. Yeah. Are
Yeah.
you kidding? Where you don't use any tools and you don't use, and it's literally just the thought and the ability to connect with the energy. Heck yeah, you've never done. God, oh man, who are you screwing?
Okay,
You really
so
got to get with these guys.
so we need to get on to the most interesting part. You're big on talking about like the computer aspects and being in a program. All right. So I want to go over something called hyperdimensional computing. All right. Now, have you ever heard of hyperdimensional computing?
Yeah, I heard of it, but I'm not versed.
Okay, so it's referred to as HDC. All right, and hyperdimensional computing is an approach to computation, particularly artificial intelligence, where information is represented as a hyperdimensional long vector, an array of numbers. A hyperdimensional vector, hypervector, could include thousands of numbers that represents a point in a space of thousands of dimensions. Vector symbolic architecture is an older name for the same broad approach. Data is mapped from the input uh, space to sparse HD space under an encoding function. Representations are stored in data structures that are subject to corruption by noise or hardware failures. No- yeah. Noisy, corrupted HD representations can still serve as input for learning, classification, etc. They can also be decoded to recover the input data. H is typically restricted to range limit integers. That would be a control, in my opinion. Now, this is analogous to the learning process conducted by fruit flies uh, of fact no OL no of by
I'm
fruit
gonna mute,
flies
but
of
I'm still
factory
listening.
systems. Okay. The input is roughly 50-dimensional vector corresponding to odor receptor neuron types. The HD representation uses 2,000 dimensions. 2,000 dimensions. So, HDC algebra reveals the logic of how and why systems makes decisions. Unlike artificial neural networks, physical world objects can be mapped to hypervectors to be processed by the algebra. HD is suitable for in-memory computing systems which compute and hold data on a single chip, avoiding data transfer delays. Analog devices operate at low voltage. They are energy efficient but prone to error-generating noise. HDCs can
Like that
tolerate
beeping in the
such
background.
terrors.
Yeah,
Huh?
go ahead. Do you not hear the beeping in the background? It's really
No.
loud for me. That's why I was wondering. No,
No,
of course
I
you don't.
can't.
You hear the beeping.
Now, various teams have developed low-power HDC hardware accelerators. Nanoscale memoristive devices can be exploited to perform computation in a memory hyperdimensional computing system. Can implement operations on two memoristive crossbar engines together with peripheral digital CMOS circuits. Experiments using 760,000 phrase change memory devices performing analog in memory computing achieved accuracy comparable to software implementations. That's just crazy. I'm gonna stop talking
Basically,
there.
so yeah. No, yeah, but it makes sense. And yeah, I appreciate what you just said because it was more like a revelation of already what is seen and witnessed. So it's cool because you just gave me an explanation to what I already knew, but I was unable to explain. So now I understand what's happening, or then I know something was happening, and I knew but like
I
just
just
being able to do that was able to.
I
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
figure like if you get into conversations with people about that again, just bring up hyper dimensional computing. Okay, it's also used in AI, and it's been around for a while. A lot of people don't understand that concept. Like a lot of the stuff that you're talking about is like real science. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know, and I never even studied it. That's why I think it's dope. It's just like I'm smart. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, I did study it. I did study it, but I studied it with an alternative method, hence the gel, alternative energy restoration. Because the stuff people studied in books, I literally studied from nature and was able to reach the same aptitude, or not same. I mean, like, because I don't stay on it. Like, I'm sure if I would have, like, there's certain parts of it that certain components that I store but I don't necessarily use. Whereas and I feel like that's with every.
Oh, shit. I did it again.
I focus aspect universal globalism as opposed to just right here. Because once I move from right here, same with my house. This is my house right here. If I move to Canada, it's not my house. If I move to California, it's not my house. I move to New Jersey, it's not my house. This is my house here. But when I go over there, it's not so. So it's like making this here. You know what I mean? It serves its purpose while here, but what's going to serve me while there? It has to be something that serves me while there. It has to be continue. You know what I mean? Anywhere I go, it should be something that I'm able to utilize. I cannot sleep in this house anymore. If I go to Jersey, like this, it's not happening. There's no way for it to. But it serves its purpose where it's at, and kind of thing. When it's necessary, oh, I'm going to Florida. I'm going back to my house in Florida. Type. It's here when I come here. So when I'm looking at it like you're going to travel with everything that you are, everything that you have. You're supposed to anyway. The important stuff is going to go with you regardless. So what are you going to nourish? What are you going to flourish? What are you going to enhance upon? What is that
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be able to elevate? And with that, it's going to be who you are, your energy, the energy you choose to incorporate. I mean, like, because all that stuff is great when it's time to build a house. You know what I mean? When it's time to fight, be ready, be able to fight. Definitely. I'm not telling you, oh, I'm not a fighter, so I'm not even going to engage. Well, that's just foolish. Engage with absolutely everything you presented. There's a purpose and a reason that is being presented to you. But what you utilize and what you keep on a consistent basis on the forefront, that could be completely different. And that's going to be based off of necessity, based off of your position in this whole, whether you're an alternator, whether you're a starter, you know what I mean? Like, machinery is going to be different in creating all of these simple parts because they do different jobs. So yeah, the battery didn't go through the same functionality that the tires went through. Functionality test that the tires went through. The tires didn't go through the same functionality that the seatbelts went through. Yeah, but they're all, again, in the same exact car, like all of it. And then just be under the category of a car, and they're able to transport. So you got to look at symbolism in that, and just the ability to transport and travel. And I could do this forever. Like I already,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Type of thing. But
now,
yeah,
what we have to talk about with everything you've said and what we've discussed.
Did you go to sleep? Where are you at?
I'm right here.
There's no talking and there's no beeping.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I had it muted again. So with everything that you've talked about, okay, and what we've discussed with these articles here, let's go back over the topic that I wrote down. Okay, now we've
transdimensional humans.
We've started talking about transdimensional entities. Okay, but let's also expand that into things like crop circles, aliens. And
aliens.
How could these incidents relate to or be explained as beings from another dimension? Could they possibly be transdimensional entities that we've discussed in those forms? You know, rather than being ghosts or aliens and the like.
Yeah, there's no such thing as aliens. They're not aliens.
Could they be trans-dimensional beings from a different dimension, you know?
But being from different dimensions you can go to a different dimension, Roger.
Right.
Like Roger, you know what I mean? So you would.
What about these sightings though? What if, like you said that I could do it?
They're from this dimension. They're just changed in form. I mean, they're here. So they're here, and it's not like they just disappear. They just change form. They have the ability to become whatever they feel like becoming, so they become something different. People have this ability now. That whole downloading a new body, they got this concept from the ability to be able to transform and to be able to be something different within this dimension. Like, people do this right now. Like, I know for a fact, I'm 100%, 1,000% sure. People, quote unquote, download these new bodies. They've run the trials and they're ready to present to the world.
Now, what about crop circles though?
Well, crop circles. I mean, that's just a higher intelligence. Like, and what they are. They're signals. They're messages, and they're messages for us. They're messages for you to understand what's happening, and they're markers, so we know what we have to do in certain areas and what we're looking for. I'm not gonna tell you all of that because you're not giving me enough for me to be able to do that. I rock with you, but I mean,
you're hitting on stuff. You know what I mean? We've been discussing this stuff, so give me your viewpoint on it.
True story though. It is. That's what it is. It's for people to know. I mean, listen, and I'll be honest with you, it has nothing to do with people. I say people, but that's just who we are right now. We're people. But we've been different things at different times, just depending on what is necessary. So we're human right now, but we'll be something else again soon. Mm-hmm. And when you're looking, and it's not going to be a robot, I hate to break it to the world, just throw that in there. But when you're looking at things and what's happening and what's going on, it's in order for us to communicate. Because, again, all these pretty houses and cars, we're going to get rid of them sooner than later. And there'll be no such thing, but we'll have our markers. We'll know what we got to do in certain areas and what we're looking for, because the stuff that we're looking for is in the earth. It's not on your house. We don't want to take your kids. It's just gross. And but people that imitate us do and make it look like it would be something that would be natural occurrences, and with amongst people like us or things like this, and they'll say, "Oh man, you got to watch them. They're child killers or child whatevers or whatever," you know what I mean? But really they are, and it's order for you to be disassociated what we are, because we say, like, people are going to live, we're not going to kill everyone. I mean, it's not going to be a problem and it sounds really crazy coming out like this, but I just got to tell you the truth.